Welcome into the crypto bunker. Today, I want to talk to you guys about gold because that is the main thing that I'm going to be focusing on. Focusing my time on is the gold market, the silver market, the metals and mining market, and I just wanted to highlight a few charts here to show the long term, um, what we can learn really from the long term chart of gold. This is the monthly chart for gold. And as you can see, we're coming into this very key trend line here. And I personally am willing to say that this is the bottom, and that if I had no exposure to gold, I would feel very happy that I waited until this perfect sort of moment to do this, um, to get involved, because it's crazy. It's very similar to what happened in 2008. And when we bottomed in 2008 and then we went on this run, we basically went from $650 to 1900. And if we made that equivalent move, we would be around $3,000 gold from here. And so that is about, I guess, an 80% move, just because of the difference in how high we are. But if we just take the exact same move in terms of percentage, if we take that move, it would be, I mean, you would see a lot higher gold. You would see about $5,000 gold on a percentage wise basis. But what I think is the most interesting thing really is that if we look back at this 2008 run, we see a sell off with this recessionary crash when everyone sort of realized we're in a recession, and that's what we're experiencing right now. And we touched this once again. It's sort of a different looking trend line, but this is the best I could find in terms of touching all the points. We touched the exact bottom of that trend line. And what I find interesting is the difference between the 50-month SMA, where we bottomed just before the 50-month. Not really that big of a difference, but percentage wise, it was about the same percentage as if we were touching 1735 on gold in terms of being close to the 50-month moving average on this correction. And look what we did. We touched exactly 1735 today, which was exactly the trend line that we're looking at here. And what I think that we're going to see now is the same exact sort of move that we saw here, for precious metals, for gold and silver. And I just think it's really cool that we get to witness this. As you can see, we're now touching this trend line as well on certain miners. And it's just, again, really cool to see. Obviously, this is a longer term trend line that I drew, that shows we could go to 36. But if we take it from 2015, which is basically when the bull run started, we can see that we've been making these higher lows on these mining companies. And obviously, we wicked below it here. This would be considered a wick if we can close the July candle above like $47. We would be within this trend line, just like we closed these monthly candles above the trend line as well. So that's one of the mining stocks I really like here. I also like Franco-Nevada, which is a royalty company. So they don't actually have to deal with inflation. So you want a combination of royalty companies as well as gold miners that are actually doing the mining. And the miners are also in a good position because oil is crashing as well. And as we see, we broke all these trend lines, and we're probably looking at, coming back down to maybe potentially 84, but I'm not sure we'll get there. I do think that we're still looking at, on the daily, the 200 is going to act as support around 93.48 at the moment. So I do think that a lot, I mean, that basically got bought up today almost. We almost touched it today. So I think that buying energy here is a decent idea. We can see we hit the 200-day moving average on Chevron. Um, we haven't hit the 200-day moving average on Exxon, and we're basically at this long-term trend line on Phillips 66 as well, dating back to 2020. So if we look at wheat and precious metals, we're also touching this long-term line here. Same thing, probably from this one's from around 2018. Drawing this trend line, basically touching it now. That's another one I like. And then this is sort of a little bit more of a speculative play, but this is run by Ross Beatty, who's one of the best CEOs in the space. And we can see we're below March 2020 levels, and we're basically trading at like a price to earnings ratio of 3. So it really has gotten out of hand in terms of the selling for Equinox, in my opinion. This is another royalty company. It's called Sandstorm Gold. We are now seeing this trend line come into play that has been touched, basically since 2015 has been touched only 1, 2, and then see a couple times around these regions. So I'm looking again for a touch to the top line. These probably aren't like these majors probably aren't like life-changing money. I would say Agnico Eagle, we're looking at like something around 120 would be like the top target. These are just basically places to put your money during a, general bear market that is going to be basically outperform, and it's going to keep you a little bit safer, but also give you some dividends, which is really cool. So in terms of silver, we are sort of touching this bottom line of this bull flag that I believe we have formed. And I believe that, on the run, this bull flag will play out. So, whenever we do break above, I expect it to play out, and that's around $42. So that would be a really good gain, especially on the miners, who are again sort of in this little bit of a different type of bull flag feel here. But I would still say that, we're looking at this top target of 24 for some of the silver miners. As you guys know, I like Endeavor. I basically go on, a lot of the times I go on what the charts that I like the best, and sort of the combination of like a good chart and also something that is like a little bit oversold. So Fortuna Silver Mines, definitely oversold. As you guys know, I like BlackRock. I talked about this before, but I also wanted to take a look, interestingly, at the copper chart, because I think it's just so crazy that these things replay themselves like cycles and people just kind of forget. But we had a double top here, exactly the same as this double top, and we crashed down to this long-term trend line. And, I think we're going to do the same thing here, which is just, it's amazing to think that people just think, oh, recession, copper goes down forever. But then look what happened. Once we hit this trend line, we just went straight up for 3 years. That is what I think is going to happen, especially with the green energy movement. There will be a copper shortage. And I wouldn't be surprised if if we're looking at the bottom right now at the 200-week moving average there. So, but we can see when these crossed is actually when we hit the bottom. So look for a cross. Once the 50 crosses the 100, I believe that's when we bottomed here. So you could look for that, and then you could look at some of the copper miners that pay really good dividends, like Southern Copper, Freeport McMoran, and etc. So just wanted to give you guys a quick update. I am willing to say that this is the bottom for gold. We're getting picked up a little bit here. So it'll be interesting to see, but hopefully you guys got something out of the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and have a great day.